Hey everyone, today we're going to set up your own watering system for your raised garden beds. Obviously, if you're watching this video right now, you know that the toughest thing to do when it comes to growing your own food in your backyard is to water these plants. And that's because you probably don't have a close water supply where you can run a hose pipe all the way to it, or maybe you just don't want to have a hose pipe laying right in your backyard all the way to your raised garden bed. But either way, I'm going to show you an easy way to set up your own watering system. But in order to set up our own watering system, I'm using this drip irrigation kit from HIRALIY. And I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name, but that's the closest thing I can call it for you guys. And right here is how this whole watering system is supposed to be set up. So this basically connects to your hose pipe and actually sends water to all these little units and releases water in like a drip system pretty much. But here's the thing, see, my raised garden bed is nowhere near an actual spigot or a faucet to connect this irrigation to. So I'm going to actually make a DIY type of watering system with the 5-gallon bucket, or if you have an actual rain barrel, you can do the exact same thing with it. So before I actually put this whole system together, I'm actually going to start with my bucket first. And no, this stuff with the bucket stuff does not come with the whole kit. So I will show you what comes with the whole kit in just a second. So the only thing that comes with this whole kit is this, the connector, basically, some lines, some more lines, your bigger line, and also some more connectors here. So this is what actually you're going to need too if you're going to do a DIY system. You're going to need to buy you one of these little faucet here. You're going to need you some silicone. You're going to need you a couple of washers, and you're going to need something to tighten these things down. So this is your lock nut for your actual back side of this that goes into your bucket. And yes, you're also going to need a 5-gallon bucket. And no, this is not a brand new one. This is one I've had for a few weeks sitting outside. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is take this 5-gallon bucket, and I'm actually going to put my faucet completely upside down right here on the bottom. So it's got a flush thing to connect to because otherwise I'm going to be trying to connect it right here and it may leak. I don't know. So I'm going to try to avoid leaks by having a flat surface here. So anywhere on the bottom, I'm going like and we'll see if that works here. I'm gonna put this right here and see what happens. Nope. All right, so I'm gonna make that hole a little bit bigger. Let's see if that works. And we got her in there. So this whole thing is now ready to go. Now it's not perfectly flush. That I'm gonna actually have to do a lot more to it, but that's what that silicone's for. I'm gonna put a washer on this side of it and a washer on the other side of it. So now I'm gonna take a washer here. I'm gonna put it on this side of it, and now we're gonna put a washer on the other side of it. So I'm gonna take my actual washer here, and then I'm gonna put this lock nut on the other side of it right here. You can see this. And I don't want to tighten it all the way down just yet, because what I'm going to end up doing is putting silicone all around this to make sure there's no leaks. And don't worry, this can actually turn no matter what. So it's not like this is not going to open up all the way either. So we're going to put silicone all on every side of it to make sure there's no water leaks. So you see all that gap? I'm actually going to fill all this up with some silicone the best I can. I'm going to get it in there. And then as I tighten it down, it should prevent leaks. Should prevent leaks in those gaps. And you see that silicone's actually getting inside this as well. So I'm working that around. That silicone's in there setting. Okay? I'm gonna do the same thing on the inside. And now I'm gonna take this off since I've got the silicone. On the other side of it, I'll take that off. Put it all the way around. Just like that. Put that back on. And then we'll tighten this down all the way. This time we'll tighten it all the way down to make sure there ain't gonna be no leaks. Okay, so there you go. See all that? Now we're gonna let that dry and set. It'll take about 30 minutes. And there should be no cracks or anything that should make this thing leak at all down here. And I'm just gonna circle this around the bottom of it. And again, make sure nothing comes out. And it's completely sealed off. And then we're good to go. Probably the toughest thing about this whole project was to actually build this thing. The rest of it comes with a connect and play type of situation. And the only thing you'll need to do now is to make sure your 5-gallon bucket's up high. I've got this bracket already installed on my actual fence line here. Got it up high so that water can actually run to the actual raised bed right here. And this thick line right here is actually what you're actually going to be running your water to your raised bed from. So this is actually going to catch all the water from the bucket and it's going to go straight into the actual raised bed. All right, so now we're going to take the end of this and actually stick it into this and see if it stays in. Oh, and it did catch. So this thing, you push it in and it's actually nice and firm. It doesn't really pull out. So that's good. Then we're going to connect this to our 5-gallon bucket. The water's going to run from here, from the 5-gallon bucket all the way to our raised bed in this whole tube right here. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna throw that to the side, and we're gonna connect this to this. Look at that. That's nice and easy to do. And that gasket will make sure it doesn't leak that's in there. There's a rubber gasket inside of there. And that's nice and tight. So this goes all the way over to our raised bed here. All right, so y'all see how much extra tubing you actually have to work with. And all it really needs to do is make it to this raised bed here. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And I can actually attach this tubing to my fence here to keep it up until it goes here. And then I can cut this off and connect my little pieces. So remember, this is how the system's supposed to be set up, where you have this right here is basically our 5-gallon bucket and our faucet. We've ran this line. Now we got to put this line and some of our little drip irrigation system set up now. So here's a few of those pieces here, and here is what I have just looked at before I started recording, but you need to cap off. One of these has to be closed off. Eventually, the line has to stop, and that is what this plug right here is for. This stops the actual water itself. It goes in there, and then you can't undo it unless you push this thing down, and it comes right on out. So this is actually your plug at the end of your system to stop the water, to make water build pressure to drip out into your raised garden bed. We're also going to connect these small lines into here to force that water out into those drip systems as well. Okay, so this is the line that's actually connected to the 5-gallon bucket, and it obviously is long enough to reach our raised bed. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. And no, don't judge my actual pruners. These are the ones I had right here in my backyard, ready to go. And so we'll use these. So now you can see this is actually shorter now and goes to about halfway here. But we're going to run it on the side of the fence here to keep it high until it gets to the raised bed. All right, so here's that piece. We actually put that plug right on the very end, just like that. And the only thing we got to do now is plug that line in from our 5-gallon bucket into this right here. And that should actually, yep, see that? It's nice and snug. It won't come out. Now we plug in our lines and we customize how we want it to drip into our raised bed. So now we're going to cut a few pieces equal length off that smaller wire, just like this right here, like it shows on the manual. It's going to go, and those smaller lines are going to go in between each one of those drip systems here. All right, so there you go. I've cut about 8 of them, all the exact same length, just so then I can connect those little drip systems to them. So I'm going to set these basically right there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to connect that one. I'm going to connect this one. And you can see, again, they don't pull out once they're connected unless you actually do that. You have to push down on the blue and pull them apart. So once you got them connected, they're in there. So hopefully you can see how easy this is to set up, just like that. So boom, we're good. So the water's gonna disperse the moment it gets backed up and then goes out to those actual little poles to release that water. All right, so that's what this bag's for, and those extra poles to connect those things to. These are the heads of the actual sprinklers. And you will see they connect from those small lines into there, and the water comes out right there. And they're gonna sit on top of these poles too. So if you wanna see how these things go on the pole, literally they snap in right here on the bottom of them, just like that right there. And they're fully maneuverable, and you can actually adjust the tops of them too. All right, so let's get one connected here, just like that. And then we'll take another piece here, put it on top, just like this right here. Just like that. Connect it here. And you can see how easy this is going to be to set up and get going. Then I'm going to take a few more of these lines and run it through here. And you can add another pole with the sprinkler head on it, just like this. So you can make it as big as you want. It's all customizable. And again, I'm just showing y'all exactly how this thing works. And you can build yours your own way. And you're going to want to put a cap or a plug at the end of these as well. So that way the pressure can build up, the water can release from the sprinklers. And that is what this is from this bag here. These cap off those plugs. So you can take this, put it in there, and guess what? It is now sealed off. No water can get past this. So the water goes all the way to here, backs up, and then the pressure starts building up and it releases out. Going another one right here on this other plug as well. So we're going to do the same thing on this other side. See how fast it is to get it going once you understand how the system works. It's pretty easy. It's literally a plug and play. We'll put caps on that. Now we're done. We'll run water through it. All right, so look, it's that simple. Now I have to just stake it in to my raised bed in wherever I want to. But you can add to it. You can keep adding to it. The more pressure you want, you need to definitely have a hose pipe to it. But if you're doing it with a 5-gallon bucket, more than likely you won't have a lot of pressure. So I wouldn't make it too big. But if you had a rain barrel, I definitely think you could get away with going bigger. But there ain't but so much pressure you'll have to build up and release into your raised garden bed. But let's set this up and then we'll see what it looks like. I'll stake this one in right here. Stake that right there. All right, let's see, stake that right there. And stake that right there. Stake that in here. Stake that right there. All right, so you can see I've got some set pretty close here, one there, another one way under there, one there, another one right there. There's one right there. So they're all under these strawberries where they can actually get water to my whole strawberries. All right, so here you go. I've got this thing going. This is just with the 5-gallon bucket, so there's not a lot of pressure, but I wanted you to see it does work with the 5-gallon bucket. And I wouldn't do no more of these 8 little head sprinklers, but it does work. So you can see this thing's all the way filled up. It's not leaking, just like this right here. I've got it wide open. You can see perfectly. There's no leaks there. It's open. I've not got this thing all the way set up, but you can see that it's still dripping out water, just like that. And you can even see it over there. So it's not a bad idea to even have this if you want to make sure you water your plants evenly. So there you go. There's your whole 5-gallon bucket self-watering system. And I know you're probably thinking, why in the world do you even need a 5-gallon bucket? Maybe there's just no way you can get water to this whole area, and you got another 5-gallon bucket you can go fill up and bring over here and dump it in there and evenly water this whole raised bed area. It's perfect for that. But if you can get a hose pipe to it, that will definitely work a lot better. But overall, that whole system is easy to put together, and you can use it a lot of different ways. And if you want it, go click the link in my bio or click the description below and go get you one.